So, your avoidant partner broke up with you, or you were dating an avoidant just casually, and they ghosted you, and now they're in no contact. And so, you know about no contact, or you just found out about it, and you're like, you know what? Well, I'm going to do no contact. So now you're both doing it. What's going to happen when both of you are doing no contact? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And welcome back, my beautiful no contact army. Have you signed up for my app, Silencio? Well, you don't sign up for it, you download it. The community on there is growing. There's discussion there every day. People are getting their questions answered. So feel free to download the app if you haven't already and join the community. And if you too would like to join our no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. Okay, so avoidants believe that staying distant protects them from vulnerability and rejection because their childhood taught them that needing someone leads to getting hurt. So they learn to use distance to control the pain, which may be why they broke up with you or why they ghosted you. But when you go into no contact and you stop reaching out, their armor eventually begins to crack. The power dynamic starts to shift. They thought you'd always be there, but you flip the script and introduce doubt into the mix. And when contact stops on both sides, the first thing that happens for you, especially if you're anxious leaning, as most of the people listening to my videos are, is that the silence feels like a verdict. You start imagining that the avoidant doesn't care or that they've moved on instantly, and none of that is true. That's just your fear filling the void. For the avoidant, the initial silence brings relief, as I've said here many times before. They convinced themselves they needed this break, but this does not last forever. Right now, they still believe that distance is protecting them, but when you stop chasing, your silence becomes disruptive. You remove the dynamic that allowed them to feel comfortable pulling away or breaking up with you. Suddenly, avoidance doesn't protect them. It actually isolates them. So when silence becomes mutual, both people assume they're the one being rejected. You think, well, if he cared, if she cared, they would reach out. And the avoidant thinks, well, if she was upset, he was upset, they would reach out, so maybe they're fine without me. Now, avoidants don't like to feel like they're chasing or opening the door to emotional responsibility. They don't want to feel like they're begging for attention. So this creates a frozen stalemate that looks like indifference on the outside, but it's actually fear on both sides. There's the anxious fear of abandonment versus the avoidant fear of engulfment. Both people are protecting themselves. But here's what you have to keep in mind. You're triggering their childhood wound. They believe that needing someone equals getting hurt. So distance feels like control. But now that you aren't reaching out, they're no longer in control. And their system starts to panic because your silence introduces doubt. And avoidants hate doubt more than they hate vulnerability. Now, there's predictable stages that an avoidant goes through when both of you stop contacting each other. As I mentioned, first, it's like, good, I needed the space. That's what they think. And this is when their nervous system decompresses. Again, this isn't about you. It's about their nervous system. Next, we have the, wait, is he really not reaching out? Is she really not reaching out? And this is when their armor starts to crack because they're used to you bridging the gap, especially if you're anxious. The next stage is the, are they done with me? And this is where their fear of abandonment, yes, avoidance habit, gets triggered. And then finally, we have the, do I reach out? What if it backfires? Avoidants don't do spontaneous emotional risk. Instead, they rehearse, they overthink, then they pull back. And this is why they can take weeks or months to reach out, even when they miss you. And now the silence starts to turn on them. It doesn't repel them, it ruins their fantasy that you'll always be there waiting for them. They start missing your energy, even if they couldn't handle it when they had it. And this is the avoidance paradox. They want closeness, but they're afraid of it. They want connection, but they sabotage it. As the silence continues, the loneliness they've been suppressing wants to surface. Avoidants aren't emotionless. They're actually emotionally overwhelmed. They've just learned to bury it. So they start having late night thoughts about you, nostalgia, memories triggered by music, a smell, a stranger who laughs like you, a stranger who looks like you. Distance does not erase emotional attachment. And the walls that they put up to feel safe, they now start to feel like a self-imposed prison. They're feeling the impact of their own avoidance. Part of them wants to reach out, and another part refuses to be that vulnerable. They're literally fighting with themselves. It's like, reach out, no, reach out, no. Your silence becomes the emotional mirror they've been running from their whole lives. Now, if you have an anxious or an anxious-leaning attachment style, then your default is to close the gap. So choosing not to reach out is a huge act of self-regulation, and I have to congratulate you, because as a dismissive, I don't have that problem. It's so easy for me not to reach out. But anxious is the total opposite of dismissive, so I can imagine what it feels like for you. So you're not just sitting in silence. You are sitting with every abandoned version of yourself. You feel the urge to fix, clarify, reconnect, repair, and or explain. However, remember that your restraint at this point is the catalyst for them eventually reaching out. When you stay silent out of self-worth, not manipulation, that's when the avoidant feels your absence the most. They expected you to chase, you didn't. That's when your silence hits them harder than anything you could ever say. And so their nervous system resets. They can finally miss you without feeling overwhelmed, and the loneliness becomes real because the avoidance didn't protect them. It just isolated them. And this causes avoidance to begin questioning their patterns. They remember how they've pushed people away in the past. They start realizing that the walls they built for protection became isolation. Your silence doesn't punish them. It reveals the truth. Avoidance now does not protect them. It actually costs them. So silence doesn't mean that nothing is happening. It means that everything is actually happening internally. Let your absence do what your presence couldn't. Create space for their emotional accountability. Your silence now shows them that what their avoidance actually creates is not safety, but loneliness. And if the connection was real, this is the stage that pulls them back towards you. They begin checking your temperature by viewing your stories, liking a photo from like 6 weeks ago at 1 a.m. Random passive interactions. And at some point, eventually, they'll reach out with something casual. Now, this is not reconnection. Right now, it's a temperature check, like I said. If you respond too fast, they retreat. If you're too cold, they retreat. So it's like the Goldilocks story. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right. So the goal that we are going for is warm neutral, when you finally hear from your ex, when you've both been in no contact. Okay? So now I want to hear from you. How long have you been in no contact, and how is it going? And if you would like my help to get your ex back, so I can help you with that warm neutral tone when you hear from your ex, or any other aspect of getting your ex back and staying in no contact, then you can contact me at theartoflove.net/coaching, and we will send you the rates. They are not on the website, and we do respond to all emails within 24 hours, so please be patient. And if you don't hear from us for some reason, then please check your spam folder. And if there's still nothing there, then contact us again, preferably from another email address. And if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you're listening to this as a podcast, then also be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And finally, remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.